welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Adrienne. It's great to be here.
You know what? We've been talking for the last 3 hours?
We have. We have.
It's too easy to talk to you. And I want to take a quick moment to say thank you for helping me.
You're welcome.
You gave me a little coaching session.
Yay.
Coaching, you didn't even know it, okay? And I appreciate that. You really gave me some valuable lessons sitting here in this room, and I can't thank you enough for that.
You're most welcome.
So, okay, you guys are like, who's Coach Reg?
Right.
Okay, so Coach Reg is here. He is from areyoucoached.com. And he does coaching for dating and relationships and even some executive coaching, which you did for me today.
Yes.
Yes, which I really appreciated that.
You're most welcome. Simple
resolution for my problem. He also has a book that I have in front of me, and thank you for my copy. I will read it when I'm at the beach next month. It's called Love, Relationships, and Sometimes Just Letting Go.
Yes.
I'm excited to read it. Where can my listeners get it?
Yeah, you can get it at Amazon.com. You can go to BarnesandNoble.com and my publisher, Arthur House. But if you go to the website, areyoucoached.com, and click the book, it'll take you to each of those vendors, and you can choose your preferred online retailer.
Awesome. Love that. And then on social media, you are on Instagram. We're all on the gram.
Right.
R-U, that's letter R, letter U, coached is your handle. And then on YouTube, Are You Coached 7905? Because we can watch you.
Absolutely.
My cravers wish they can watch me. I'm going to get there. We talked about that today.
We did.
Also, I'm excited to say you're going to have a podcast coming out.
I am. It's going.
You want to drop the name?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
I will. It's a tease, but I love it. Fractured Not Broken podcast.com. And it's the relationship wellness podcast.
I love that. I'm so excited for you. I can't wait to watch you grow. Like I said before, us podcasters, we got to stick together.
Absolutely.
All right. So now you're family.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Indeed.
And you know what, Nate, if you're listening,
Yes.
this is a shout out to her
For sure.
for linking us up.
Nate made this happen.
Yes. I met Nate in graduate school, and I just adore her. I love that she said I'm a dear friend of hers, because I feel the same about her.
100%.
Yeah, she's awesome.
That respect and admiration is mutual for sure.
Yes. Okay, so today I really just want to touch base with you. I feel like we should have recorded the last 2 hours because it was so valuable.
Wonderful.
I'm going to tell you guys a couple of things that I learned from you today.
Okay.
Number one is it's okay to make time for yourself. I've been struggling with thinking that I'm a bad mom because I want to go get a pedicure or I want to get laid, right? And that's okay. It's okay to take a time out.
Absolutely.
I'm not a bad mom for that. And then it's also, just thinking things differently. And one of the things you said to me was, Adrienne, don't expect rational from somebody that's irrational. And you gave me a great visual. And you said, the track is broken. The bridge ain't there. Okay. It's fallen out. It's never going to change.
The bridge is out.
The bridge is out, Adrienne. And it sounds so stupid because it's so simple, but it really is a game changer for me because I'm going to get some help.
Excellent.
And I'm going to make some moves, and it's okay. I don't know why I harbor and feel like I have to be responsible for everything. I don't.
You don't, and you can't. And I think people who are, achievers, high achievers, people who want to do well, be there with and for people that matter, that's a difficult cross, if you will, to put down, because you matter. And all of it can happen, but it happens via balance.
Yeah.
And you just have to learn how to balance the movements that you need to make.
Another thing that you said to me that really is a game changer for me is you said, Adrienne, so you take time off for your birthday, you take time off for the holidays, but you feel guilty about taking a random break here and there. And one of the things you go, has your success changed? No. So why do I feel bad? So I'm going to work on that.
Very good.
You really have opened me up to a lot of things today. So
Fantastic.
Appreciate that.
You're so welcome.
I feel like if you're struggling out there like me in many ways, reach out to Reg, hit you up on areyoucoached.com.
Yep.
Or send a DM. You're in the DMs on Instagram.
And you can go directly to the website and see the coaching offers and see which package works for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love that. Okay, so I want to kind of touch base, and I'm so excited to read your book, but I want to talk about dating,
Yes.
relationships, and then this is huge, letting go.
100%.
Because that's important too. Okay. Yes. All right. So for dating.
Yes.
Okay. I'm laughing because I just think some guy is going to come knock on my door. And he's going to be like, I'm here for you. I'm a safe place. I got all that you need. But all I have to do, Reg, is sit in my living room and wait. but that's not. So how do you meet people?
Gotcha. Great question. Great question. And it's funny. I would say in living your life, right? If you're going to the grocery store, if you dry cleaners, if you have a pet, walking your pet in a safe place in a park, coffee shops, the point of it all is just, living your life. It is okay to say hello to people that you find appealing or that they interest you, or you think they could interest you based on what you see or how they present. It's nothing wrong with saying hello. Why is that? Why? Because number one, you're going to find out A, if they're open, B, if they're friendly. And you let the conversation unfold versus attempting to script it or create a narrative, or I'm going to say this, they're going to say that, I'm going to say this. No, that's too much stress and pressure. No one knows what the next person's going to say until they say it. So it's just a matter of just kind of feeling it out. But I know in the moment, it's not always easy to do that because you're thinking about, man, are they going to like me? Are they going to be rude? It's all these, what I refer to as sabotage, right? Your choices or compel you to not do the thing that you would ordinarily do. But then also be smart about it, right? Like if not, approach someone if they're actively engaged in something like on the phone. Probably don't say hi. It's not the time, right? But if they're looking for something, say you're in a Target or something, right? And you see a man or you see a woman that you are interested in, that you find appealing and you want to say hello to. Hey, you finding everything you need? I don't work here, but
so you're saying I have to leave this house?
You actually got to leave, yeah.
And I have to go out and talk to people.
It's a thing. Actually, get in your car and drive, and also it's also your demeanor as well. Be open.
I'm an open person, but
But body language. Is
yeah.
what open,
you know what? That's something I need to work on. I feel like I'm a very closed person.
Yeah. Notice when someone folds their arms, that's considered closed, right? But if your hands are by your side or you are just kind of just walking, that gives an appearance. And smile. Eye contact and smile is okay.
Eye contact is huge. My friends say to me, they're like, Adrienne, you're so intimidating. And I learned from trying to avoid situations with certain people. I learned from someone, he was like, don't be open, don't be green, don't look them in the eyes. Look anywhere else but the eyes. And I'm like, okay, maybe I took that a little too far.
Yeah, because you know why? The reason you can look the person in the eye is because you are not forfeiting your choice when you do. You still get to choose if you want to have a conversation or not.
Yeah.
If you want to remove yourself or not. You get to your choice is not forfeited because you choose to make eye contact and say hello.
All right, so I got to get out of the house.
Well, yeah,
I saw this TikTok that said, if you're single, you should never be home. You should be home to sleep, and that's it.
So, okay. Yeah, that's interesting. So this is, again, we talked about groupthink earlier, right?
Yeah.
How the collective. The thing is this, we individually need to know what works for us. It's not about what everyone else is doing, because if you're doing something that conflicts with how you feel, it's not going to work. Your actions have to be aligned. You have to feel good about the thing. That's how you know when to stop and when to go. It's like your intuition. Women, for women, it's intuition. You may not know why you're stopping. May not know why you're continuing, but there's something that says go and there's something that says stop. For men, we refer to it as a gut. Some people.
Tell me about men. How's that work?
It's really, I know, right? It's. But here's the thing. I think that some women misunderstand or don't maybe consider is men have insecurities as well. I've heard women say, "Oh, men are used to rejection, so it's okay." Who is ever used to rejection, regardless of your gender?
Yeah.
Right? No one likes it, but it's a perception. And I think if we understand our individual value, it may sting in the moment if you say hello to someone and the person you say hello to isn't receptive, but that doesn't define who you are. It doesn't lessen your value because they didn't appreciate it.
Yeah.
So it comes back to how we think about it. If we're feeling good about ourselves, the other part of it is just to say hello. You don't have to have a line. It doesn't have to be, let me say this.
Do you feel like men definitely use pickup lines more?
As do women. No, there's some, I'll say assertive women. I will not call them aggressive, but I'll say assertive. But the reality is, people say things and sometimes depending on the mood the person is in, because you don't know. That's why you're looking for the smile. You're looking for the person being open to your saying hello. If the person seems like, don't bother me, don't say hi to me, the day is not the day, you probably don't want to say hi to them.
Yeah.
You'll have some people who say, oh, wow, what's a beautiful woman like you? Why aren't you smiling? No, don't do that.
Yeah.
You don't know if she just got off the phone. You don't know if she just experienced a loss. You don't know what happened.
Yeah.
So is everything okay? I just noticed you seem a bit, is everything okay? You may choose to say that, or you may not.
Even that could be an approach, right?
It can be, because you're just saying, I just noticed there's just concerned.
I'm going to start being more present when I'm out there, and also noticing more because I've had situations where I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to, and you almost feel like you really want to say something, but then I don't, because I'm like, I don't want to embarrass myself. I don't want to put them out, but I'm just going to do it.
You should, because it doesn't cost you anything. Because sometimes you don't know if a compliment will make someone's day.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it doesn't cost you anything, and it doesn't come with expectation. You're just
I love that
something.
compliment thing. That's a good way.
Yeah.
All right. I guess I'll be getting out there. Oh my God.
I think that would be great. And you would be good at it. Yeah.
But then let me tell you something. How do you feel about this? I have places where it's a no-go zone. So like work, no.
Okay, fair.
The gym, no.
Okay.
Places that I frequently go, no. Neighbors, no. So like I'm really narrowing down the places.
Really
I got to go to the grocery store and touch fruit with somebody.
Well, you could do that. You could do that.
You know what I'm saying? Like we both reach for the orange, we touch hands. It's a meet cute. It's that movie moment, you know?
You can do that.
God.
But in all fairness, though, even in the gym and the places you mentioned at work, those same conversations can be had, because you're in a common space. If you're at work, if you're in a gym, you're both there to, well, not everyone's there to work out.
Practicing conversation is one thing, but actually following, I can't mix business and pleasure in those places. Okay. I've had experience with that.
Then see, that's good. That's good that you're aware that that's not something you should do.
Yes. Yeah.
I understand that.
All right. So we talked about, you were saying like the fear of being rejected when you go up to somebody, or like if you have a first date. What are your tips on accepting that rejection? Maybe learning from it. Right. I feel like I'm pretty good at dealing with that. I don't internalize it anymore. I know it has something to do with them, and maybe we don't align on certain things like our core values, or the attraction is not mutual, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that I'm ugly. It just means I'm not for him.
100%.
So is that like, do you have any other tips? Because I know a lot of people, it stinks when someone rejects you. It does.
See, the word rejection, I have had that conversation a few times with folks about, and it's really how you perceive it. It's how you perceive the no, if you will, or no thank you, right? Or I'm married, or I'm in a relationship, or I'm not, whatever their response is. We hear it as rejection, but it's almost as if rejection there would be some knowns that we had that we don't have. Like we knew the person was in a relationship, and we went and they said, no, I'm not interested because I'm in a relationship. We didn't know that. The only way to get to that point is to ask, or to find, or to express an interest, right? And to listen to what the response is. And if they're not open to you, here's a thought. Instead of processing it as rejection, consider that maybe they saved you time.
Oh, I love that.
Because they didn't waste yours. See? And they were willing to be honest with you versus misleading you down a path, right? So there's gifts in every experience. Yeah. It's just how we look at them.
I think I've learned a lot in the lifestyle.
Yes.
I say no, and people have said no to me. And that's okay. I think that they've taught me a lot about that and using your words and stuff. One other thing that I really learned is use your words immediately. So I had a great date with this guy, and he was awesome, but there was no chemistry for me. And I told him, I said, hey, you are great. You're very attractive. You're just not for me. I didn't feel the connection with you, and it's such a shame because I know you're such a good guy. I told him the next morning. Good. So because I was like, I'm not going to waste his time. I'm not going to lead him on. So I'm a big fan of that.
That's a great approach. And I also think too, this is, I think, important to note. When we hear no, or no thank you, or I'm involved with someone, or whatever the response is, I think it's good to thank the person for being honest. I appreciate it, because, and thank you for not wasting my time. I also think that when you hear that, you're now available for the person that is for you, or the next situation, the next experience, right? But when someone says they're not, you know, like you said, you were honest with the young man the next day. I think when we are honest, once the sting dissipates, with that person, whether they would acknowledge or not, what they're left with is respect.
Yeah.
So I think it's so many victories in that. You know what I mean? Because you were honest. The sting of the honesty may hurt. However, once that sting dissipates, the residue is respect.
That is really, really true. And I feel like I practice that, and that's something that I've really learned in the lifestyle. And whether I'm giving or receiving, either end, you're right, it does. It feels like respect.
Yeah.
And I cannot tell, like I tell a lot of my friends who are dating and doing all this crazy stuff, when you are entertaining things that are going nowhere, when you are seeking validation from people who are never going to really fulfill you entirely, right, when you're exhausting that energy and effort, you're missing out on what could be out there. Like, that's one thing I do not do anymore. I don't waste time on you ups or good morning texts. I don't give a shit about that stuff anymore. Okay. And it's a time waster, but so many people do. Right. I'm a big fan of having a clean plate. Like, I don't like a bunch of people in my DMs. I don't like a bunch of people texting me all the time. Yeah. Whether we're moving towards something or we're not.
Right.
But a lot of people, I feel like, find themselves in this, oh, well, he texts me, or, oh, I'll go have a drink. I don't know. It's like this, it's an emptiness, and I don't like that.
It sounds in those, so you don't do it, which is great. But those persons who do receive it, it may be aspirational. Because if I have an ambition to be with someone, and this person seems to express an interest in me by saying good morning, are you up, or what have you, then they're thinking about me. Could it just, that could be true, or it could just be novel.
Yeah.
Because it's new. And the key is, and what I think a lot of people miss, a lot of us miss when we meet someone, especially someone we're excited about or believe we could be, is that once the butterflies, once the excitement wanes and dissipates, are you still as interested? Once that person becomes routine, right? And I think that we have to be patient, and it's difficult to do that. It sounds logical, because the thing in all of this, Adrienne, in relationships, when you're talking about matters of the heart, it's never logical, so it's not going to make sense. You're like, well, why don't you let go? What's the big deal? First of all, it's not your life. And no matter how much you may be able to empathize, because you've had a similar experience in your life, you don't know how I feel. No matter, even if I articulate it to you, there is no way you can earnestly know how I feel, because you're not me. And that's the thing that I hope that we can remember when we see people struggling to navigate a breakup, that they're not saying, God, how many more examples do you see before you realize this person doesn't care about you? And that person may be like, yeah, you're right, but they have to get there on their own. And if we love and support them as we say, then we should support them in that capacity as well.
I could tell you a million examples of people I know like that. And I've done that myself. A lot of people told me, with Prince Charming, they were like, oh my God, how many more chances do you need? And I'm like, I only got 866 chances left. Okay. Like, but it's true. And like, I had to get there. Exactly. I had to accept it, and it had to be my timing and my decision making. 100%. Yeah. So
good for you.
But let's talk about that really quick. Something else I want to touch on was closure.
Yes.
Okay. So I have painstakingly grown and learned, and I'm very proud of myself, because I no longer seek closure from others. Great. I know that it's within myself. You agree with that?
I do. And I think it's more of, it's a choice that we can all make, because the challenge with, and I just posted something about this a couple days ago, resisting the urge to pursue closure, because it's tempting. Because you're like, I just want to understand why. Why do you not want to be together? What can I do? What can I,
why did you do this to me?
100%. And the problem with that is, number one, you don't know if you're going to get the truth. And number two, the person's not obligated to respond to you. And so instead of giving your power away and pursuing closure, consider acceptance that the answer is the answer. If their answer is no, then I'm just going to choose to accept a no. Because no matter what they explain, how do I know that they're telling me the truth? But what I can trust is that they're no longer interested in being with me.
Yeah.
So
that makes it so simple. And don't give your power away.
Exactly.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for clarifying that, because I know I've struggled with that in my life, and a lot of people are.
Yeah,
okay.
that's the thing.
Let's move on to relationships.
Okay.
I want to talk about, you said something, the lies we tell ourselves in relationships. Do you have like top 3 lies people tell themselves in relationships? What? Everybody's perfect. The honeymoon phase lasts forever.
Yeah, those are good. Those are all very good. Because here's the thing, right? We can say to ourselves whatsoever. The real question is, are we willing to acknowledge and pay attention to what we're actually seeing, what we're being shown? See, because we can choose fantasy. We can choose.
Oh, I love Fantasyland.
Well, then you'll love the lies. Right? Because it's like, if the lie makes you feel better, in theory, then you're like, man, that's easier. But the truth, in my opinion, is where your peace lives. Because I think in the fantasy and the lies that we tell ourselves is where our stress lives.
Yep.
And unfulfillment, right? But in the truth, if we're willing to accept it, even if there's unrest initially, peace is on the horizon, right? Because now I'm not lying to myself. And that's the biggest lie that you can tell yourself. The one that you know isn't true, that you know in your heart of hearts is untrue, but yet you're like, but you don't understand. He loves me, she loves me, whatever. Okay, that's wonderful. But what do you feel? And not what do you want to believe, what are you being shown? What is this person showing?
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
I think one thing that I'm thinking about too when it comes to, lies we tell ourselves is your mind wants to create that narrative.
Yes.
You have to ignore that.
Yes.
And also something that I'm guilty of is not taking a moment to step back and just listen, evaluate. Like you said, what is your truth?
Yes.
And take like that time out, because it is paramount. I'm a very pop off kind of girl.
Okay.
That's bad. That's not what you want to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? I have a question for you, and I just had something profound happen last night.
Yes.
So I was braiding my daughter's hair.
Sure.
And she said to me, Mom, what is it like to be in love? What does it, she was like, I know I love you and I love you very much, but you're my mom. She's like, what is the feeling and when do you know that you love someone? And it was such a big question. I told her, I said, that's a huge question. And the only answer I could give her, I would love to know what your definition of love is, because here's mine. I just said to her, it's someone that you care about and love entirely, plus their flaws. I don't know. That's the only thing I could give her. It was such a big question. What do I go back to her tonight when I'm braiding her hair? What do I tell her? Can you believe my 10-year-old said that?
That's a great question, and it's awesome that she's thinking about it. But she's absolutely right. It's a different type of love, and she recognizes that as a young person, that I love you, but it's a different love for that person that could be her life partner.
Yeah.
Right. And what I heard you say is it's unconditional love. Yeah. It's like, I accept you and all that comes with you.
Yeah.
Right. That sounds great. But when it comes to living it out.
Yeah.
And when life actually happens and you really have to see if what you said you're actually willing to execute, because everyone can say that in the beginning. But when you get into real relationship and you're invested with someone and they with you, and there's something that happens and the pop off is the first thought, right? But you're like, I love this person still.
Yeah.
Now, and that speaks to, let me be smarter than the moment. Smarter than the moment means this. There may be something that you do to upset, that you do or that you did that upset me. And I may want to pop off. But resist the temptation, or at least my goal is to resist the temptation, because I don't want to say something to you that sorry can't fix when I'm no longer angry. So being smarter than the moment says, let me stop, back to EQ, emotional intelligence. Let me be self-aware, because I know my inclination is to pop off. Let me manage what I'm aware of, not do that. Let me participate in relationship management, because I still want this person in my life, and not say something that could cause them to want to leave me.
Yeah.
right? So this is a very thoughtful thing. And so we don't know until we're tested. Once the novelty is passed, what I say to people is this: get your emotional intelligence right. Love languages are a breeze. Mm-hmm. Love languages are, if you liken it to economics, love languages are the macro. EQ, emotional intelligence, is the microeconomics of it, because it's the foundation. It's how we relate. It's how we interact. It's me seeing you, not seeing what I want to see, but seeing you to the point where when you share with me, I'm actually curious enough to learn and to understand and to ensure that I understood what you said to me. Because I don't want to say, oh, she told me this and I got it. Let me make sure. Is this what you're saying? Right? It's a better way to solidify and strengthen us. So when you get to those difficult moments, right, when you're ready to, you're less inclined because you've taken the time to communicate and they with you, and you've encouraged it, and you've built a foundation and created a safe space in which to do that, absent of ridicule, judgment, or condemnation.
Yeah, it's not only, it's a respect thing in addition to being unconditional.
Yes, 100%. That's really the only reason you would do it. See, I believe this. Man, woman, a woman can like a man that she doesn't respect, but she can't love him. Nah, that's a far cry. I
have something else I want to tell you. I spent a lot of time in Al-Anon, growing up in an alcoholic home and then being in a relationship with one. Spent a lot of time in those rooms, and I'll never forget somebody there said, I always think to myself before I react, am I going to have to make amends for this? And I was like, oh, I love that. When you were talking about that, that just like popped in my head.
It's so true. Because we feel justified in the moment when we're angry because it's emotional. I was just upset. Well, you can apologize and the person may accept your apology. But here's the thing that we don't know. Will they question, is that how you really feel about me? And there's no way to recover from that because you don't know what they're thinking. That's why the resistance and the resolve and discipline is to say, I shouldn't just say anything to you, because if I truly love you, I'm going to be respectful. Because we can disagree. We just do so respectfully, not disrespectfully. Yeah.
And like you said, once you cross that line and you once you have the resentment, you said it's broken. Yeah.
But see, here's the thing. You can repair that potentially.
So it's a fracture.
It's a fracture, not a break. Exactly. It's a fracture, not a break. Good catch.
All right.
Good catch.
Okay. Yeah. One of the things you say is, why do married people have less sex?
Yeah. So a couple of thoughts on that, just at a very high level. Complacency, routine. There's the disconnect was subtle, and there was maybe not conversation around what people were noticing. They just allowed it to happen, and now we're here, and they're like, what do I do? I'm stuck. And that's unfortunate, because if you don't have that foundation, when life happens or disinterest happens, you can't have those honest conversations. Honest conversations aren't all the things that feel good. Honest conversations also include those things that I'd like to ask you, would you consider working on, or maybe not doing, or adjusting, or considering, or whatever the ask is, and also be open to asks of you from your person. Yeah. When that doesn't happen, you come to this place where it's like, now what do I do? What do we do?
Yeah, you're so far gone.
100%. And it's oftentimes when that happens, it's a bridge too far. So when you're at the fracture, or when you start to notice things, the disservice is that we don't speak on it when we notice it, right? And we just allow it to unfold. But when you get there, it's never too late to ask a question. The key is to find out if the person is open to having a conversation before you get into all that you want to say, because the problem is we want to go in and I got to say some things to you.
Yeah, pop off.
There it is, right? But then,
I love it.
But the key is to say, let me find out if you're at least open to listening to me before I even get it. Because it doesn't matter what I want to say to you if you're not open to hearing it. So let me find out where you are.
Something you said earlier, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but this was huge.
Please.
You said, instead of going up to somebody, you never want to say, we need to talk.
Yeah.
Because that's immediate defense mode.
100%.
So tell me what you suggest saying instead, because it's profound. So go ahead.
Got you. Yes. So when anyone says we need to talk, our human natural reaction.
It turns me off right now. I'm turned off.
Exactly. But if you say to someone, if you were to say something like, hey, listen, I've been thinking about some things that I'd like to share with you, and I'd like to get your thoughts on them, and I'd like to share mine. Mm-hmm. Are you okay with that?
Yep.
And they're like, yeah, what's up? Because now it's an inclusive approach versus an exclusive
dialogue.
Approach. 100%. Yeah. I'm inviting you to the conversation because I don't want to, because again, there's no need for me to tell you what I want to say until I've confirmed or verified that you're open to hearing it and you want to be a part of it. And so I said to share this, we shared this earlier. My contention has been forever, for quite some time, that people in relationships, humans, we want to communicate better. We want to be more effective. We simply don't know how. Mm-hmm. And that's why coaching helps.
It does. Yeah. While we're on there, and I this is what I do on my show. Sure. I have to go off and I have to ask immediately. One of the things I asked you, because I genuinely wanted to know, what is the difference between a therapist? Because I've been in therapy forever. Right. Therapist, coach, counselor, just if you could touch on that, because I learned today.
100%. Yes. The way that I explain it is, if you think about a therapist, kind of helps you understand the genesis of who you are, any traumas, attachments that you may have had, experienced as a child, and also why that may play out in your life present day. So it's kind of like the beginning. Mm-hmm. A counselor can be a therapist, and they tend to deal with crisis, more imminent challenges, right? And a coach is a person who helps you move from where you are to where you say you want to go. So it's more like, if you think it's a past, present, future. Mm-hmm. And if you think of it like, I need this right now. And they both can coexist, because in the mental health care genre, they all are there, but coaching isn't therapy and therapy isn't coaching, which is why you can benefit from therapy and a person can benefit from coaching simultaneously. Absolutely.
That really cleared my mind, because I was like, what is the difference? And let's be real. There's a lot of people out here saying, I'm a coach. I just want to say, I just met you. Yes. Nate connected us. Yes. And when I saw your foundation, and you've been doing this forever, and your published writings and books and, TV and radio, whatever, like, you're the real deal.
Thank
and
you.
So I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And I just love being able to ask you anything. You have awesome answers. So,
awesome. Yay.
All right. So let me ask you a question. Do you have tips? I love just the tip on how married couples can have more sex. Is it communication? Is that the key?
I think it starts there. But again, it's first finding out if the person is even open to having a conversation, because engagement and participation and presence is required to have it.
Yeah.
So you first want to find out if they're open to it, right? Then once that happens, it's like, now, not just are you open in word only, but are you really willing to do the work to figure out where we went wrong? In other words, maybe ask a question. Do you remember, or was there something I did? Do you remember what that was that caused you to retreat from me? Because I think understanding what the root cause of it is, you may be able to solve, better yet, get to a different outcome.
It's funny, as soon as you say that, I know exactly what it, like, so even me, the nympho that I am, I didn't want to have sex with my ex-husband.
Okay.
I didn't want to. And he never asked me that question, and I could have told him point blank what it was. As soon as you said it, I knew. So use your words.
Exactly.
And say it.
100%.
All right. Okay, let's wrap things up, because I know we've been here for a long time.
No worries.
Not recording, but I want to talk about something that's very important. And I love that your book encompasses all the phases, because I think it's, get married, have babies, live happily ever after. That's bullshit. Disney lies. Okay. Sometimes it's, you just need to let go.
Yes.
So when is it okay to let go?
Yeah, that is to a person. The individual literally has to get there, and they get there from a place, and only they know. It's kind of like when we think about the last straw. I was talking to someone, a former client, a couple of days ago. She was sharing with me how she's at the end of life of a relationship, and it's taken some time. And she said it's like a death.
It is,
but I had to get here, and I'm okay. She says, I'm sensitive. It still matters to me. But the reality is, it's time to let this go, because it's been forever since this relationship has served me.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And I have given so much to it, and I've given enough. I've given all I'm going to. Mm-hmm. So
you've reached your limit.
100%. And when that individual chooses that, that's when it's okay to let go, because no one can tell you. Mm-hmm. Logic doesn't change or move the needle. Because we're talking about matters of the heart, right? So when you're dealing with matters of the heart, someone that you were connected to, someone that you valued, someone that you thought valued you.
Yeah.
And you realize that really was not ever true, because you have empirical evidence to suggest.
Can I tell you something? And
Sure.
again, this happens all the time with me.
Please.
When you're talking about this,
Yes.
I remember, so breaking up with Prince Charming was really hard for me to do.
Okay.
I loved him very much.
Yes.
I was all in. Mm-hmm. And I could not change him.
Yes.
You also cannot make someone change. Like, they have to want it for themselves. And I could no longer deal with the addictive behavior. Right. Okay. And no matter how hard I tried, and Reg, I tried hard, and it was little things like, oh, I got a boat. Oh, we're going to go on this vacation. Mm-hmm. Oh, we're going to go do this family thing. I could not feel right. My gut was screaming. The universe was telling me, it was, I could literally touch it. I could cut the air with how wrong the situation was for me anymore. Yes. You can feel that.
100%.
That's like a thing that's like, it's time to let go.
It is. And I think, and I like that you mentioned that, because what I heard you describe, and how I heard it, is intuition. Would you agree?
Yeah. Yes.
And so
it's loud.
It's screaming at us. And we, men may refer to it as the gut. Women may refer to it as intuition, but it's all meant to protect you.
Yeah.
It's like a safety net. You may not know why you're supposed to stop. You may not know why you want to go or continue to go, but it feels right. Just like it feels like I'm supposed to stop. And the key is, when you find that or you feel that, is to have the courage to trust it.
Yeah.
And not just continue,
and listen to
because
it.
my
Yes.
mind says this, but my heart says that, and they're conflicted. What we want to seek is alignment with our heart and our mind.
I was just getting ready to say, I said it on the show many times. My heart finally caught up with my head. That was the end.
There it is.
So that is like a very easy, again, you have given me so much clarity today. I can't thank you enough, for real. And I know that you are now someone in my life that is trusting and I can share with, and I appreciate that. And just thank you so much for today, for real. It really meant a lot to me. And I'm game changers.
Wonderful.
I'm going to call you. I'm like, I'm getting my pedicure. I'm going to call you and be like, hey, I'm getting my massage. Oh my God, I hired a babysitter.
Wonderful. Wonderful. These are all good things. These are great things.
Yes.
And you're a great mom.
Thank you very much. This has been awesome today. Okay, so go find Coach Reg. I feel like we can all use a little, where are we at and where do we want to go?
Yes.
Like, it's important to do those things. So areyoucoached.com, or on social media, Are You Coached on Instagram, or watch you. Are You Coached 7905 on YouTube. But also, you have a podcast dropping, and I'll post it on my Instagram when you do.
For sure.
Just press record. That's my best advice for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for all of your assistance today and your insight and your wisdom around podcasting. It's been a journey. I have great notes.
Awesome.
And I will be in touch with you for sure. Like you said, we're connected.
Yes.
Whether you like it or not.
We're podcast fam now.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited for you, and I can't wait to see where your show goes.
Thank you so much, Adrienne. It's been a pleasure.
All right. Take care.
You too.